We have been talking about Elastic Block Store, or EBS. But there is another type of volume that I have mentioned before that you should know about. That type of volume is called Instance Store. So, what is an Instance Store volume? With Amazon EC2, we have host servers in the AWS data center. So, the host server is the physical server that multiple EC2 instances are running on. And, of course, AWS has hundreds and thousands of these servers. Now, as you know, the EBS volumes are actually connected across the network, a storage network, meaning we have a network interface card and we're connecting across a network to the EBS volume. So, when you launch an EC2 instance and attach an EBS volume, the instance and the volume are on different underlying hardware. But with Instance Store volumes, the volumes are hosted on the same underlying physical host as that of the EC2 instance. For this reason, Instance Store volumes provide high-speed, low-latency access to data. Instance Store volumes are ephemeral. That's something that's very important to remember. Ephemeral means that this data is not persistent. It is lost when the instance is closed. In fact, you can even close an instance if its root volume is an instance store. You can only restart the instance. But if there is some kind of failure in EC2, if the host server fails, for example, your data will be lost. Whereas with EBS, the data is persistent, so it will be there when you can reconnect to your volume. Also note that, to use Instance Store volumes, you must use the supported EC2 instance type. You will find the long list of supported instances in the AWS documentation. So, why would you want to use an Instance Store? Well, they actually offer extremely high performance. So, for some use cases, they are very useful. Now, Instance Store volumes are high-performance local disks that are physically attached to the host computer running your EC2 instance, as I mentioned. Instance stores can be useful for temporary storage of frequently changing information. You can use it for a cache or some sort of buffer. You may have scratch data. You may have some kind of application that replicates data between a number of hosts. Therefore, you have multiple copies of that data that are distributed between instances, and you keep them up to date. In that case, an instance store could be a very high-performance solution and can be cost-effective. Also, the root devices of the Instance Store volume are created from AMI templates stored in Amazon S3. Finally, instance stores cannot be unlinked and reattached, so they cannot be unlinked and moved to another EC2 instance or unlinked and then reattached to the same instance. So, let's now go to the AWS console and see how you can launch an EC2 instance with an Instance Store volume. Well, from the EC2 panel, I click on Launch Instance. I select an AMI. Under Instance Types, I will click on Compare Instance Types, and here, you will see the list of instance types and their supported instance storage. So, if I look for instance type D2X large, select it, and go to the storage section, we can see the Instance Store volumes. So, this instance type has a root volume of type EBS and also supports up to 3 Instance Store volumes, each 2 terabytes in size. Note that the storage type is ephemeral, and these volumes can only be attached at launch time. So, you have seen how Instance Store volumes provide a performance advantage over EBS volumes because they are hosted on the same physical server as the instance itself.